You ever wonder how you can be busy all day and still feel like you got nothing done? You were moving, scrolling, responding, checking, watching, but when the sun went down, something in you whispered, you're still not where you want to be. That ache, that frustration, it's not because you're lazy, it's because you're distracted. You've been scattered. You've been pulled in 100 directions that have nothing to do with your vision, your growth, or your future. And now you're starting to feel it. It's not that you don't have potential. You've always had it. It's not that you're not capable. You are. It's that your energy is being diluted, stretched thin across things that don't serve you. Your power is leaking through every I'll do it later, every notification, every conversation that doesn't push you forward. And deep down, you know it. That's why you're restless. That's why you're overwhelmed. You're not lost. You're just unfocused. And here's the truth. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another strategy or another app. What you need, what you've been needing, is a moment of radical clarity. A moment where you get honest with yourself and say, enough letting the world run your mind. Enough living in reaction mode. Enough watching other people execute on dreams that are no more valid than yours. Because right now, while you're second-guessing yourself, someone out there with half your talent and twice your focus is winning. They're not smarter, they're not luckier, they just made a decision to cut the noise, to cut the excuses, and lock in. So here's a wake-up call. It's time. It's time to silence the distractions. It's time to block out the noise. It's time to stop explaining, stop waiting, and start building. Your life doesn't get sharper until you do. Your results won't change until your focus does. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, it's time to focus. Let's tell the truth here. Most people aren't living their lives. They're reacting to someone else's. They wake up and before their feet hit the floor, their mind is already hijacked. Notifications, messages, trends, opinion. They don't even own the first 5 minutes of their day, and yet they wonder why they feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and disconnected. If you don't control your attention, someone else will. And trust me, they are. This world is designed to steal your focus. Algorithms are engineered to manipulate your emotions. Content is curated to keep you watching. Advertisers don't care about your future. They care about your clicks. They don't care about your goals. They care about your attention span. Why? Because your attention is currency. And if you're not the one spending it intentionally, you are the one being spent. We've reached a place where distraction is normalized and focus is rare. That should scare you. Because the people who win in this world, the ones who rise, who create, who dominate, they've learned to do one thing well: protect their focus, like their life depends on it, because it does. You think you have time, you think you'll get to it later, but distraction is not just about wasted minutes, it's about wasted opportunity. Every time you break your focus to check something meaningless, you're robbing yourself of depth. You're robbing yourself of the momentum it takes to build something that actually lasts. Do you really think greatness is built in 5-minute blocks between dopamine hits? No. Greatness requires immersion. It requires discipline. It requires presence. And I get it. You've got a lot going on. Life is noisy. People are demanding. But you have to realize that focus isn't about silence. It's about control. It's about deciding where your energy goes and not letting the world decide for you. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to be available to everyone. You don't have to entertain every distraction that screams for your attention. You can say no. In fact, you must. Because when you say yes to every distraction, you are saying no to your own future. Read that again. This is not about being perfect. This is about being intentional. You don't need to eliminate every distraction. You need to learn how to lead yourself through them. You need to understand that every second your mind is wandering is a second your power is leaking. And if you do that long enough, it won't just be your focus that suffers. It'll be your confidence, your drive, your identity. People talk about purpose. People talk about dreams. But what they never talk about is attention. Because dreams without focus are hallucinations. Purpose without attention is useless. What good is knowing your why if you don't have the ability to stay locked in on it? What good is vision if your mind is constantly pulled by things that don't matter. Let me make it plain. You're not going to succeed unless you get intentional about your focus. Period. You can have all the talent in the world, all the ambition, all the ideas, but if your attention is scattered, your results will be too. Because the truth is, your life will follow your focus. And if your focus is on what other people are doing, on entertainment, on nonsense, then don't be surprised when you wake up years from now, still in the same place. You want to take back your life? Start by taking back your focus. That means setting boundaries. That means turning off what doesn't feed you. That means guarding your mornings like sacred time. That means saying no to people who constantly pull you off course. That means auditing your environment, your digital space, your conversations, your habits, and asking, is this helping me lock in or is this keeping me stuck? Because here's the thing, your focus is not just about productivity. It's about self-respect. Every time you choose to stay on task, every time you choose to prioritize what matters over what's easy, you are proving to yourself that you are worthy of building something meaningful. You are proving to yourself that your future matters more than momentary pleasure. That's where confidence is born. Not in hype, not in fake motivation. In the small, quiet moments where you choose discipline over distraction. Let me be very clear, you don't rise by accident. You rise by focus. You rise by owning your energy. You rise by realizing that the world will keep stealing your attention until you decide you've had enough. And when you do, when you finally draw that line, when you decide your focus is sacred, everything begins to change. You become sharper, more grounded, more powerful. You start to reclaim the parts of you that were always there, but buried under noise. You stop just surviving and you start building. So if you've been feeling lost, stuck, unclear, check your focus. Ask yourself who's been controlling it. Because once you reclaim that, once you own your attention again, you don't just get more done, you become unstoppable. Most people aren't lacking motivation, they're lacking clarity. They're exhausted, distracted, and stuck. Not because they don't care, but because they don't know what to care about first. They're chasing too many things, starting and stopping, saying yes to everything because they haven't decided what truly matters. And that's the problem. When your vision is blurry, your actions become scattered. You can't hit a target you can't see. Clarity is not just a nice idea, it's power. It's what separates movement from progress. It's what cuts through confusion. Because let's face it, you can be busy all day and still feel like you're going nowhere. You can work hard and still be lost. That's what happens when your life is filled with motion but no direction. You end up tired but not transformed. You're spinning but not ascending. You've got to get ruthless about where you're going. This isn't about casually picking a few goals. This is about deciding who you're going to become. And once you decide, you eliminate everything that doesn't serve that version of you. That's clarity. It's not vague. It's not soft. It's aggressive. It's cutting. It's surgical. You've got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I really want? Not what others expect, not what's trendy, not what feels safe, but what do I, in my core, actually want to create with this life? Until you answer that, you'll keep drifting. You'll keep chasing half-built ideas. You'll keep comparing yourself to people who chose clarity while you were still choosing comfort. And clarity isn't something you wait for. It's something you commit to. Stop waiting for signs. Stop waiting for everything to be figured out. Decide that this year is going to look different. Decide that you're done playing small. Decide that your goals aren't up for debate, because once you do, your energy shifts. You stop entertaining distractions. You stop negotiating with excuses. You start moving with direction. A focused mind is a powerful weapon, but a clear mind, that's dangerous. That's what intimidates people. When you walk into a room and you're clear on who you are, what you're building, what you stand for, you become untouchable. Not because everything's perfect, but because you're no longer shaken by noise. You've made a decision and everything else becomes background static. You want to level up? Get clear. You want to feel confident? Get clear. You want to stop doubting yourself? Get clear. Most self-doubt isn't a result of failure. It's a result of confusion. You keep asking, Am I doing the right thing? Because you never define the destination. You're standing at the crossroads of 10 paths, wondering why you feel anxious. That anxiety is indecision. And the cure, clarity. Here's the truth. Clarity takes courage. Because once you choose one path, you have to be willing to walk away from the rest. That's what makes it powerful. That's why most people avoid it. It forces you to prioritize, to commit, to let go of comfort and familiarity. But if you want to rise, you can't dabble. You can't keep one foot in and one foot out. You can't chase plan A while keeping plan B warm, just in case. Burn the bridge, lock in, get clear on what you're fighting for. Maybe that means cutting out some people. Maybe that means leaving environments that don't reflect where you're going. Maybe that means having the discipline to say no to things that used to excite you but now only distract you. That's the price of clarity. And yes, it costs, but confusion costs far more. Look around, how many people do you know who are busy but not fulfilled, successful but not satisfied? It's because they climbed a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. They never got clear. They never stopped long enough to ask, is this mine? Is this what I actually want? Or is this what I thought I should want? You don't get to the next level by adding more. You get there by cutting through the noise, by subtracting everything that's pulling you away from your path. The sharper your clarity, the faster your growth. That's not just mindset, that's strategy. And don't confuse clarity with perfection. You don't need to know every step. You just need to know the next right step. Get clear on the direction, then move. The fog only starts to lift when you start walking. Too many people are waiting for full certainty before they commit. But clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing, from stepping into the unknown and adjusting along the way. It comes from paying attention to your results and staying honest with yourself. You are not here to be everything to everyone. You are not here to live someone else's blueprint. You are here to rise into who you were meant to be. But you can't become that person until you get radically clear on what that version of you looks like, speaks like, operates like. So make the decision, draw the line, clean the slate, write the vision, get rid of the noise, cancel the distractions, set the standard. And if people don't understand it, let them be confused. That's not your job to fix. Your job is to be focused. Your job is to be clear. Because when you are, no one, not the critics, not the pressure, not even your own fear, can stop you from building the life that was meant to be yours. Discipline isn't loud. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't post about its progress or brag about the grind. It just shows up over and over, quietly, consistently, without applause. And in a world obsessed with motivation, that kind of consistency is rare and powerful. Motivation may light the spark, but discipline keeps the fire burning. And when it comes to focus, discipline is your training ground. It's the muscle that lets you hold your line when everything around you is pulling you off course. You don't rise because you feel inspired every day. You rise because you've trained yourself to move with intention, even when you don't feel like it. That's the truth. Nobody wants to hear. People wait for the mood, the right time, the magical burst of energy that never really comes. But discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I made a decision. I have a standard, and I'm going to honor it. That's strength. That's where focus is born, not from emotional highs, but from mental resolve. The reason most people struggle with focus isn't because they're not smart or capable or driven. It's because they haven't trained their discipline. They've trained distraction. Think about it. If you reach for your phone every time you're bored, you're training your brain to seek stimulation. If you quit every time something gets hard, you're training your body to give up at discomfort. If you keep changing goals when things don't go your way, you're training inconsistency. And here's the hard truth. Your results don't lie. They will always reflect the level of discipline you've built. You want sharp focus? You want locked-in energy? Then you've got to build the muscle. You've got to say no when it's easier to say yes. You've got to stay in the room when your mind wants to leave. You've got to keep going, not recklessly, but relentlessly toward the things that matter. Discipline doesn't mean being robotic. It doesn't mean burning yourself out. It means creating systems and routines that remove decision fatigue. It means simplifying your life so you don't have to negotiate with yourself 100 times a day. Because every time you argue with your goals, you drain mental energy. Every time you have to think about whether to do what you said you would do, you open the door for weakness. This is why elite performers aren't necessarily more talented. They're just more disciplined. They're not more gifted. They're more committed. They've built lives that are structured around their priorities, not their preferences. And that structure gives them freedom. Freedom to think clearly. Freedom to move purposefully. Freedom to focus without being dragged in 10 different directions. You want freedom? Build discipline. And discipline is not about going hard once in a while. It's about consistency in the small things. Waking up when you said you would, finishing what you start, showing up to the work even when it's boring, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one is watching, because that's when it counts. That's when the muscle grows. Think of it like this. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you gain strength. Every time you do the hard thing instead of the easy one, you gain power. And eventually that power compounds. Suddenly you're not fighting to stay focused anymore. It's just who you are. You don't rely on hype or pressure or outside validation. You move from within. You move because you've trained yourself to show up no matter what. And let's be honest, there will always be a reason to break focus. There will always be noise, distractions, emergencies, opinions. Life doesn't slow down to make space for your goals. You have to carve that space with intention. You have to fight for your focus every single day. And that fight gets easier the more disciplined you become. But don't confuse discipline with perfection. You will fall. You will have off days. You will slip. But the difference is, discipline doesn't let you stay there. Discipline gets you back on track. It doesn't beat you up. It builds you up. It reminds you of the bigger picture. It pulls you out of your excuses and says, we're not done. Let's go. This is what separates the ones who talk from the ones who execute. Discipline. The willingness to act, even when nobody's clapping. The courage to say no to things that feel good now, but steal from your future. The self-respect to protect your focus like it's sacred, because it is. So ask yourself, what are you training right now? Are you building the muscle that keeps you aligned? Or are you reinforcing habits that pull you off track? Are you living on emotion, or are you moving with discipline? Because once you build that muscle, everything changes. You think clearer, you move smarter, you waste less time. You start making real progress, not just in one area, but across your whole life. Your relationships improve, your self-worth rises, your confidence grows, not from hype, but from the quiet power of following through. So build it day by day, rep by rep, choice by choice. Discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. It's the foundation of focus. And focus is the path to everything you've been chasing. Build the muscle, protect your mind, and stay locked in. Your mind is not a dumping ground. It's a fortress. It's the control center of everything you do, everything you believe, and everything you become. And yet, too many people treat it like an open door, letting in noise, negativity, chaos, gossip, doubt, distractions, anything and everything without question. But if you're serious about success, if you're serious about focus, growth, and discipline, you have to protect your mental environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Every thought you allow in either builds you or breaks you. It sharpens your focus or scatters it. It pushes you forward or pulls you off course. You can't afford to be careless with your inner world, not if you're trying to build something great. Your mind can be your greatest asset or your greatest liability, and the difference lies in what you let influence it. Look at your daily inputs, what you're watching, listening to, who you're talking to, the social media you scroll through mindlessly. Ask yourself, is this sharpening me? Is this feeding my focus or weakening it? Because most people are not tired, they're mentally overstimulated. They're overwhelmed. Not because they're doing too much, but because they're taking in too much noise that has nothing to do with their purpose. You wouldn't invite someone into your house who trashes your furniture, tracks mud on your floors, and screams all night while you try to sleep. So why do you let content, conversations, and people take up space in your mind, doing the exact same thing? You must get ruthless about what you allow into your mental environment. Guard your energy. That doesn't mean isolating yourself or cutting off the world. It means being selective. It means becoming aware of who drains you, who inspires you, what environments bring out your strength versus what pulls you into survival mode. You cannot thrive in an environment that constantly triggers self-doubt, comparison, and fear. That's not motivation, that's mental sabotage. Sometimes the most dangerous influence isn't loud negativity. It's subtle distraction. The friend who always wants to hang out, but never wants to build anything. The constant updates from people who aren't walking your path. The content that looks entertaining, but chips away at your drive, one scroll at a time. Every day, your brain is being wired by what you feed it. You can't expect clarity when you're constantly digesting confusion. You can't expect discipline when your inputs are chaotic. You can't expect focus when your mental space is cluttered. Start filtering everything. When someone speaks fear, doubt, laziness, or small thinking into your space, shut it down, not with anger, but with boundaries. When a habit starts to eat up your time and your energy, call it what it is. A thief. When an environment begins to normalize mediocrity, it's time to remove yourself. And here's the truth. This is not about being harsh. It's about being intentional. Protecting your mental environment is not selfish. It's survival. You can't serve, build, lead, create, or grow from a place of constant mental chaos. Peace is a weapon, clarity is armor, and focus is a discipline you must defend. You want to know why high performers protect their routines? Why they wake up early, limit access to themselves, train like warriors, and audit their circle. It's not ego, it's preservation. They know the cost of distraction. They know that one conversation, one toxic influence, one lapse in discipline can derail momentum. So they stay sharp by staying guarded. That doesn't mean being paranoid. It means having standards. Standards for your energy, standards for your time, standards for your space. You don't let just anyone touch your goals. You don't let just any voice speak into your vision. And you definitely don't let just any habit run your day. You are responsible for your mental environment, no one else. Not your boss, not your friends, not your family. You're the gatekeeper. You decide who and what gets access. And if you don't take that role seriously, someone else will shape your thinking for you. And here's something most people don't realize. Protecting your mental environment improves everything. Your sleep gets better, your focus sharpens, your creativity flows, your confidence increases, your communication improves, you stop second guessing, you stop comparing, you stop tolerating anything that doesn't align with where you're headed. Because now you're operating from strength, not stress. You're responding from power, not panic. And when your mind is clear and strong, you move differently. You speak with conviction. You execute with precision. You rise with purpose. You no longer chase validation. You own your identity. So if you've been feeling off, scattered, stuck, don't just push harder. Clean house. Audit your mental environment. Cut what's draining. Reinforce what's building. Replace noise with wisdom. Replace distractions with discipline. Replace empty conversations with meaningful ones. This isn't just about focus, it's about freedom. Mental freedom, emotional freedom. The kind that only comes when your inner world is aligned with your highest standard. Don't let your mind be a battlefield when it can be a command center. Protect it, defend it, strengthen it, because your life follows your mind. And a focused mind builds an unstoppable life. Focus is powerful, but focus without purpose is like aiming a weapon with no target. You can train your mind, cut out distractions, discipline your time, but if you don't know why you're doing it, the fire will fade. Purpose is what turns focus into fire. It's the fuel that makes you relentless, consistent, and untouchable in your pursuit. You can force yourself to stay disciplined for a while. You can push through resistance for a week, a month, maybe even a year, but willpower alone runs dry. It gets exhausted. Purpose doesn't. Purpose is renewable. Purpose is sustainable. Purpose doesn't beg for motivation. It creates it. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, everything changes. You wake up different. You don't need to be dragged out of bed or hyped up by a podcast. You get up because there's work to do, because there's a mission, because there's a version of you on the other side of discipline that's worth fighting for. Without purpose, focus feels like sacrifice. You feel like you're giving things up, free time, comfort, entertainment. But with purpose, focus becomes a choice you're proud to make. You're not giving things up, you're trading up. You're not losing your freedom, you're reclaiming it. You see, people don't burn out because they're doing too much. They burn out because they're doing things that don't matter to them. It's not the weight that breaks you, it's carrying weight that has no meaning behind it. But when your work is connected to purpose, it strengthens you. You may be tired, but you're never defeated. You may struggle, but you don't break, because something bigger than you is pulling you forward. Purpose gives your pain a reason. Without it, the discomfort just feels pointless, but with it, pain becomes part of the path. You stop running from it and start using it. Every setback, every delay, every failure becomes fuel. You start to see the resistance as a necessary part of the transformation, not a sign to stop. Purpose rewires how you process obstacles. You don't say, "Why is this happening to me?" You say, "What is this building in me?" You don't get bitter, you get better. You get sharper. And you stay locked in, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Think about it. When your why is weak, distractions win. But when your why is strong, excuses don't stand a chance. The temptation to scroll, to quit, to procrastinate loses its grip when you're laser focused on a mission that matters. And here's the part nobody talks about. Purpose isn't something you find once and then coast on forever. It evolves, it sharpens, it deepens, and you don't discover it by sitting around waiting for inspiration. You find it through action, through movement, through the doing. You start where you are, and clarity comes through commitment. You show up every day and let the work reveal the meaning. Some people waste years searching for their purpose, when what they need is to start. You don't find purpose in comfort. You find it in challenge, in friction, in the process of becoming more than you were yesterday. Once that purpose locks in, everything aligns. You start saying no with confidence, because anything that doesn't align with your purpose isn't worth your focus. You don't feel guilty for setting boundaries, because your time has a direction now. Your energy is no longer up for grabs. It has an assignment. That's when you move different. You stop waiting for things to happen. You make them happen. You stop negotiating with fear, with laziness, with other people's opinions. You don't need validation because your purpose has already spoken. This is where you're meant to go. And let's be clear, purpose doesn't mean you'll never feel tired or overwhelmed, but it does mean you won't be derailed by it. You'll have something inside of you that refuses to let you quit, something that whispers, "We're not done yet." You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be clear about what matters, clear about who you want to become, clear about what you will no longer tolerate in your life. Purpose makes that clarity non-negotiable. It makes your focus unshakable, and it gives your life direction. Without it, focus feels like effort. With it, focus becomes your edge. So stop asking for permission to focus. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop playing small to keep other people comfortable. If you've been distracted, drifting, doubting yourself, it's not because you're weak. It's because your purpose hasn't been ignited yet. So take a step back, ask yourself the real questions. What do I stand for? What am I building? Who am I becoming? And once you get even a glimpse of that answer, hold on tight. Build your schedule around it. Build your circle around it. Build your habits around it. Because when you combine purpose with focus, you become unstoppable. This world is loud. It will pull you in 1,000 directions and try to convince you that every voice matters more than your own. It will distract you, tempt you, shake your confidence, and test your discipline. But none of that matters if you know where you're going. None of that matters if you decide right here, right now, that nothing will pull you off your path again. You've wasted enough time on things that don't serve you. You've given enough energy to people who don't believe in you. You've delayed, doubted, second-guessed yourself enough. This is your moment to reclaim control. Not next week, not tomorrow, now. Because once you lock in, everything changes. Your mindset changes, your circle changes, your results change. Not because the world got easier, but because you got focused, because you chose to protect your energy, your time, your vision, like your future depended on it, and it does. You're not too late, you're not too broken, you're not too behind, you're just one decision away from everything changing. And that decision is this. It's time to focus. Cut the noise, sharpen the vision, protect your peace, and get to work. Because the person you're becoming is counting on the focus you bring today. So no more excuses, no more distractions, no more waiting. You've got work to do.